morning everybody, hope you're all okay. We're going to do something a little bit different today. This is just a little mini episode. The podcast will be going up tomorrow as usual, but I've made the first sock of another pair of socks. This is the picnic socks. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, which I will link in the description bar below. Now, this pattern calls for an afterthought heel. I have done an afterthought heel before. I think it was last year and it went badly wrong. This is not a tutorial. This is just you guys following me along as I attempt to figure this out. I thought it might be quite interesting. It might be rubbish. Like I say, I did try it last year and it went badly wrong. In my defence, I didn't know how to pick up stitches then. Sorry, my hair's on. And the stitches, I'd clearly picked up the wrong part of a stitch and the stitches dropped all the way down. I freaked out and I was just like, no, I can't do this. And I ended up ripping the whole sock out. So I know how to pick up stitches now. So I think if that happens again, I should be okay. But still, I'm a little bit nervous. So these are the socks. And the yarn is, where are we? Where's my label? It's in here. It is Stylecraft All Stars in the colourway Red Pots. Now I have made a mistake on these socks, which I'm just going to show you. The pattern is on the leg, it goes all the way around, but when you get to the foot, as is standard, it's vanilla on the back. And I end up doing a pearl row all the way around. It doesn't matter, I'm not bothered. It's only on the back of the foot. Nobody's going to see it. It's going to be inside my shoe, so I'm really not bothered. I was going to pull it back, but I just thought it's my sock, it's fine. So it's already got its first mistake, so it can, you know, it can stand to take a few more. I like to make at least 5 or 6. So this pattern calls for you to put waste yarn in where the afterthought heel is. Now, when I tried the afterthought heel last time, I didn't do that. So that's what this is here. I'm hoping this is going to make it easier. I've spent the past few days watching I think I've watched almost every tutorial for the afterthought heel. So I'm hoping. See, I'm looking at this now. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Because it's really close to the patterning. Can you see, like here? Like this stitch here. These are yarn overs above it. There is a knit row, and then that's where you put the waste yarn in. I think I should have added a few more knit rows. I don't know. We're just going to have to see how this one goes. So that's what I thought we'd do today, a little mini episode and see how this goes. The red is one that I dyed myself. I stole a mini from the shop the other day, and I just dyed myself a really deep. It's coming out really bright on the camera, but it's not. It's like a maroon red. But yeah. So we're going to get into it. There is a number of ways that you can do the afterthought heel. The way that I think I'm going to do it, the pattern actually calls for you to pull out the waste yarn, and as you pull it, just put the stitch straight onto a needle. I think I'm going to attempt to get the needles in first before I pull this waste yarn, if I can. Let's just see how we go. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I don't think there's anything else other to say. You see, you can clearly tell that I'm just stalling at this point, just wasting time chatting before I ruin this sock. I really wasn't sure about this sock at first, whether I'd chosen the right yarn for it, or whether it should have been just vanilla. But looking at the back with it just vanilla, I'm so pleased that I did it in this yarn, because I think it looks lovely and I don't want to ruin it. And that's the other thinking behind this. If I go badly wrong, some of you will be pros at the afterthought heel, so you can tell me what I've done wrong. That's the other thought behind making the video. So I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to get on and we're going to do this. I need to go into the right leg of each stitch on the row underneath, I think. So I'm just going to attempt to do that. And I'm already struggling. I'm finding that really, really difficult to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my contrast yarn and I'm going to attempt to get it onto yarn first, I think. I'm going to go through it with some a needle and see if that's any easier. Right, that was much easier. So I've essentially just put a lifeline in above this waste yarn here. And I went through it with a sewing needle and I just did each stitch one at a time. So the thinking is now, when I pull this waste yarn out, them stitches should be held on this red yarn. The white one's the waste yarn, and the red one should be what's holding my stitches. Whew, so nerve-wracking. Let's give it a go. Where's the end of my white? Oh, I can't see that. Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh my word, this is nerve-wracking. Why won't that one come out? What are you stuck on? Come on. That one won't come out. Why won't you come out? Okay, I'm going to have to snip that one. Dear me. Oh my god, I'm even cutting. Oh my word. So far my stitches are held on. I don't want to pull it too much in case I've not got a stitch held on. I can just pick it up. I don't want a stitch to fall into this bit here. I don't mind if it falls into that bit. But I'm going to struggle picking it up from this bit. The trickiest bit that I found was picking up the first stitch. After that it was okay. The rest of them just like followed really easily, but that first one was really tricky to make sure I'd got the right one. Let's give that a snip. Oops, sorry for rocking the camera there. I think we're all good so far. If you can hear the snoring, I'm really sorry, it's the dog. She's kipping. It's not even in the camera, is it? There we go. Snip that bit. Oh my word. We're doing it. We're actually doing the afterthought heel. Oh, that one needs a bit of a tug. I didn't think that one was attached then. That made me panic. Needs taking off. think it's all right. All stitches are on the yarn. Okay, so we've done that bit. So I'm going to go ahead now and where's my... I've got stuff everywhere. I am going to go ahead and transfer those stitches onto my needles now. So I'll be back in a minute. Ta-da! It worked. All the stitches are back on the needles. I haven't technically cut into the knitting because I'd use the waste yarn, so that's fine. But all the stitches are back on the needles. Now, so from what I can gather now, I need to do 2 rounds of plain knit, and then I'm going to decrease, just like I've done for the toe, down to 12 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to use my red, where have I put my yarn, in this colour, and I shall be back in a minute. I did it. Look at that. I am really pleased with it. I really like this bit here. I think that's... You don't get that. I normally do the shadow wrap heel, and it's a different join here. I really like this. It was much easier than I thought it was going to be, apart from my mistake line here with the pearl bumps. Once I'd got the stitches picked up, it was much easier. I did go down to 12 stitches on the heel, which I'd seen, I think it was, I've watched a lot of tutorial videos over the past few days, but I think it was Ellie from Craft House Magic who had said go down to 12 stitches here, because for the toe I go down to 14 stitches, but I think it looks lovely. I've tried it on, it fits lovely. I'm really pleased, so I can finally say I can do the afterthought heel. So I don't know if I'll use it all the time, but it does just make a change from doing the same sorts of heels constantly. I do normally do the shadow wrap heel, which I absolutely love, and I have that memorised. Obviously the dog is just making noise over there. Yeah, I have the shadow wrap heel memorised, and this one is just lovely. It's certainly easy if I'm doing shorty socks, just to knit the whole sock and then put in an afterthought heel. I think it'll definitely be easier for shorty socks. And I think if I did this pattern again, it might be easier to add another round of knit rows before the heel, but I managed fine, so probably no need. I'm just so pleased. I'm so pleased I did it. So thank you for joining me for that little mini episode, everybody. I hope you found that a little bit interesting. Maybe it wasn't really interesting and you're kind of like, Alex, we don't need to see that. But yeah, the podcast will be up on YouTube tomorrow. I'm going to film that in the morning as usual, and it will be up at some point in the afternoon. So have a lovely day, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. Bye.